Oh, I absolutely hate the rain. Anybody complaining about lack of rain, you're joking. It's not good when it rains and you've forgot that you've actually left the driver's window open. Not good, hence why that's given a bit of a run to clear out. Anyway, this is what you want to know, what you want to see. Now I'm just going to put my torch on because the lighting is reasonable in here, but there's no lighting because the garage door is completely open. It's gone really dark. A lot of things have been going on 50 Shades since the last episode. A lot of cleaning, a lot of niggles, and a lot of fasteners, nuts and bolts have been purchased either brand new from Ford or obsolete parts on eBay, or I've made my own, because there's a lot of fasteners on this car I'm not very happy with. Now, this on the floor is ready to go on at last. So it has all been assembled. Melee inner rods, genuine outer trap rods, ready to go. Look at that. £40 each, not cheap. Genuine inner boots that I have CV jointed. I was waiting for new clips to come through, and I know that people say, oh, but you could have cable tied that. No, that's not appropriate. Cable tying isn't tighter than a CV clamp, and they're quite easy to crimp. You've just got to really grit your teeth when you crimp that. But everything else has been cleaned. The rack's been cleaned and empty of fluid, and the lower arms have been kept on. Painting original bolts, new bolt, new bolt. You cannot get these bolts for the ARB bushes. These clamps have been powder coated, and as you can see, the ARB arm has been powder coated. There was a bit of corrosion on this side, as you can kind of see there. It's a bit bubbly, you know. They do rust along the sides, but that's absolutely fine. This is all good. So yeah, fantastic. Now, for those of you who don't know about the design ride height, it actually says it in the book. You're supposed to put a cable tie between there and there and loop it round, and the distance between this and this has got to be 98 millimeters. Absolutely not going to happen. The height at the front of the car, again, is not set by the springs. It is set by the tightness of this bush, keeping the bar in that set position that you have set. So I generally put about 5 fingers under there. That one was a bit tighter, but as long as you get it equal side by side, you torque the bolts down in 2 stages, those 4 bolts, and then it holds it in that position. And apparently that is supposed to put pressure on the ARB links, which keep the strut in the same position and push the spring up. It's not going to work. I mean, it only worked due to the better tolerances when these cars had, when they were brand new, of course. The 2 down the sides here are these. That's what these are for. So you have 1 here, 1 there, and 6 at the back. But I managed to get 4, so 2 are going in here, 2 have gone and replaced the original tidied up bolts above the springs, and the other 4 old ones will go eventually if I can find some at a reasonable price. They were a bargain, absolute bargain, and there are several things that I've bought that have been a bargain. Shall I be very, very quick and brief? That mounting here, all this, that's been powder coated. New bolt, and a new bolt under there. 3 new bolts. Those mounting bolts, they are obsolete. I managed to get some, just about. Cleaned around this area. I have something nice for the alternator. Cleaning around the wiring, sorting all that out. Cleaning around the ducting, that's horrible. If I just come over here, this bracket has been powder coated for the throttle. They always rust very badly indeed, so I thought that would be a cheap throw in. Now the one thing that I haven't got round to doing is this bracket down here. Now it's a bit of a mess down here, but this bracket goes from here and goes all the way around. We've got to take a few more bits off. I've loosened the nuts, but obviously it's not going anywhere because that's in place. That is an original Ford mounting that I'm going to clean up because I just sprayed too much paint in the past. I'm correcting a lot of work I've done poorly averagely in the past. I've taken the grommets out, and that one is for the air ducting. So Mr. Ink is missing that, by the way. Some cars are, some cars are not. So that's all going to come out. The plate that is actually welded to the body, well, that's underneath this. You can actually remove this by taking that out, taking that out, and taking that out, and it will come up. I can show you once the engine mounting is off. We have reused a lot of, some of these fixings are reused because these clean up very, very nicely. The struts are completely in place. Oh, so is the drive shaft. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about that. But strut is up there. Genuine strut bearing with a melee top mount. Because you can't get genuine Ford mounts no more. I've tried, believe you me. KYB, I think it's a KYB boot and bump stop kit. New springs, APEC, perfectly fine. Match the rear because APEC is from the rear. Brake pipe in place, all painted. Not the best in the world because you can see my scratches, but I don't really care because it's hidden by, it was much better than what was here before, put it that way. At the end of the day, that's all good. I don't know what all that is about. These horns are brand new, almost. I had the bracket powder coated as well with a new earth bolt, simple as that. So yep, that's needed to be cleaned up a lot. Gearbox has been cleaned up, new seals have gone in, giving it a really good clean up. The new seals required that special tool I mentioned. Now, in the last episode, I think I mentioned how difficult it was to retrieve the gearbox seals. Well, they're even harder to put in. You need a special tool to put in. I now possess that tool. There is no other tool that will fit. There is no socket or bearing pusher that will do the job because it will wreck the seals. You will need a special tool. I might be your fella. If you're a member of the Mark 1 Focus Club and you have an automatic with leaking seals, I have the tool. It costs me a fair amount of money and I will be able to loan it out to people as and when. So those for the club only. And what else have we got? Well, obviously new drive shafts from J&R. I have been actually preparing it a little bit. We've got the original style hub nuts here. I have painted this section. This was bare metal about half an hour ago. I have painted it because this will surface rust. I need to actually secure that better actually because I shouldn't really have that like that. Oh dear. Dearie me. Slipping down everywhere. Don't have the joint like that, Andrew. That's the whole idea. Thank you very much. Good. There we go. Now that's in a more suited position. I have also, I'll just bring you around here just about without knocking you against everything. The cap has also been powder coated. The bolts have been cleaned. Everything else is good. New seal right there. Drive shaft went straight in. This side comes out perfectly fine. It's that side with the circlip that you'll have to get straight before you push it in. And we have the pipe fiasco. I have not painted the fuel pipes. I have not painted the brake pipes because I want people to see what I have been doing. Now some of these clips have gone a bit weak. But that's okay because when the subframe is on, it will push these clips up and they'll stay on. But I have done 2 copper pipes all the way to the back. Look at those shiny clips. And the whole underside of the car is absolutely perfect. We are awaiting the new cat. Heat shields have been painted. The underfloor has been painted properly. No under seal here. We got rid of most of that. The blue plug down there, we are waiting a genuine lambda sensor to match all the other genuine sensors on this vehicle, because the other one decided it didn't want to separate from the cat. I'm not surprised given the amount of time it's been there. Otherwise, new pipe there, cleaned up all around here, and I've also cleaned a rust spot all the way in here behind this shield. Okay, it's just a tin shield, this piece. There has been a slight casualty. I managed to scratch my own car, which I wasn't very impressed with, but that's okay. I'm afraid when you work on cars in this environment, you're going to damage the car at some point. But that's okay, because I've put about 20 million things right that weren't right with this car, including broken bits and pieces that I never knew were broken. I'm really glad that it's going on this way, and you know, I've just spent a bit of time cleaning up all the wires. You know, it's nice to see some colours in the wiring, lots of colours. There are a few tips. Oh, by the way, these rubbers, some of them I've had to replace because they've cracked quite badly. This has been a massive undertaking and not an easy one. It's not for everyone. There's a lot of bits everywhere. I'm still to put this on, and then I can sort this mounting out, and I'm not done yet, but I'm getting there. And all the little bits, I mean, I've painted that steel fuel line that runs across the front. That looks excellent now. The power steering pump has been cleaned. And in fact, the most important bit that was actually annoying me from the very start on this car, the earth points. Now, I will warn you, I've mentioned it before, that one is faulty. That always snaps. These earth points go into welded nuts on the other side of the wing. Now, as you can probably tell, I have put my own one on. Yes, I had to cut that one off, and I've put a nut on the other side. These two are still in good condition, but the welded nut that is on this one originally always causes the bolt to snap. The threads are just shocking. It was a design flaw from the factory, so don't touch it, Mr. Inca. I've yet to touch it. I've cleaned them up as best as possible. This was, because I snapped it years ago, I used this hole, which is actually used on the Z-Tech engines. Mr. Ink uses that. But because I've angle grinded that welded nut off and done basically a bolt and nut effect, although to take that off, I've got to go on from the other side and take the arch liners off. Might be a faff in the future, but it doesn't matter. It's original. That one's been cleaned as well, and I think also the other two over here, very impressed with that one. Look at that lovely bolt. Absolutely. There is a casualty actually. I think there's another bolt. There's another clip that's failed. This one. That clip there is under a lot of strain from what's going on down there. It won't stay on in place. I've got a genuine one coming from Ford. All good really. Apart from that, we're all good. We have some nice new bits down here. Got a new sleeve. Genuine Ford hangers for the sleeve with the brass nuts on the end, at least brass coated. These are excellent. They're much more thicker than the originals. Mark 1 members have access to all these parts through the numbers on the system. That is a genuine gasket. 2010 May. That is amazing. That is pretty incredible, some of this stuff, and well, at the end of the day, once you've got the numbers, you're laughing. All this is achievable by any Mark 1 owner. It depends how much money you want to put in. I've put, I think, £2,000 by the end of it. All the fasteners, bolts, clips, everything, down to the little details. And anybody can achieve this if you're in the club. Because if you're in the club, you have access to the Parts Bible, which I write pretty much, and it's based off what I do in my cars and my experience. So all the things that I've spotted on this car that I'm thinking, I don't think I have a number for one of them, and I've gone away, found the number, and then I'll tell my members what that number is as well. So all the parts that I've bought for this car, my members have access to, and you can do the same. You need a bit of luck with the availability of some parts, but the truth is, it's all there and you need to use it, and anything's achievable. And 50 Shades is, it's one of these cars that you could go really OTT with, and I'm sure some of you will say I have, but I haven't gone OTT because everything that is aluminium, I've just wire brushed and cleaned and polished. I haven't painted it. I haven't painted every single item on this car. I've cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. Look at that bottle. That's been for an ultrasonic cleaner. That's why it's so clean. Yes, I bought that. That's why it's so clean. But you get the picture. I mean, I've been going around with a brass brush just to clean all the wiring gently. I mean, you know, these sort of cables, they never look red. They always look slightly red. These dipstick handles, they really take some scrubbing up to go yellow again, you know. I'm not happy with the state of that wiring. Need to clean that a bit more. I notice things all the time because the car is getting better all the time, but you can go over the top or you can go to a certain level. Mr. Ink is quite tidy, but it's never ever getting to this stage. But everything is achievable. I want people to use this as motivation. There have been some niggles. I think the gearbox seal was the biggest problem, and I couldn't move forwards until I put the seals in the box. So if you have an automatic, don't worry about it if you're in the club, because I can give you that tool on loan. And there's no point in having these tools if you can't give them out when people actually need them. Better still, I'll probably end up coming to your house and fitting them for you. I might as well, but you'll have to take the subframe off, because to get the drive shaft seals, or to get that drive shaft off, you need the subframe out of the way. It's just impossible to get a tool in to pull the drive shaft out. There's no space. Anyway, I will leave you be on this update. There's one last thing on this video that I'm going to leave, and it is pictures of the steering knuckles that have been completely and utterly refurbished and powder coated, and it didn't cost me a fortune. They are now ready for new bearings and flanges, and I'm not doing that, by the way. I did use my press to absolutely massacre those bearings out, but I don't trust it. I don't trust my own jack, so I'm paying somebody to do that. That's where you save the money. You know, you can do the work yourself here. You're not rushed. It helps to have a garage or a good driveway, a good space to do this. And if you've got a bit of budget, you can pay somebody to press things in and do the nasty stuff, because that's nasty. It's one of them jobs that I'd rather not be doing. Anyway, apart from that, take care.